Everybody shout the discovery process.
Discovery.
The discovery process is not settling for a settlement, but rather living for a legacy. Discovering yourself is a mental place of discovering what belongs to you, what you should do with it, and how you should help somebody else with it. Let me say that again. Leland, discovering yourself, Sister Marcus, is a mental place of discovering, Sister Verlene, what belongs to you, what you should do with it, and how you should help somebody else with what God has given to you. Because you have to understand, people of God, that people live a life well into their latter stages of their existence and never truly understand, Cookie, who God has created them to be. Y'all talk to me in here. And the reality is that many of you are now just discovering who you really are. And I'm not just talking about the person that you portray to be in front of other people. I'm not talking about the person who you have accepted yourself to be. For so many wear a mask and live life through the lenses of a masquerade affair, that they have fooled themselves to believe that they really are what they have portrayed themselves to be to other people. Somebody talk to me. Because in reality, when you discover yourself, you come to the realization that you may not be perfect, but you're heading towards perfection. Y'all making me work in here. Let me say that again. When you discover who you are in God, the reality is that you realize that you're not perfect, but you are being perfected in God. And that's why you cannot allow anybody to wear a black robe over you with a gavel in their hand and judge you on what God has already forgiven you. Baby, if God has forgiven you, if God has washed you by the blood of the Lamb, I don't care what you remember. God doesn't remember what I used to do. He only remembers who I am now. Somebody shout, I'm discovering myself in God. All right. For some of you, you may be older in life. All right. But you are now discovering who you really are. You have been living, but your purpose wasn't solidified until recently. You have been going to church year after year, but you didn't really have an in-depth understanding who Christ Jesus was until recently. You have been in relationships, but you really didn't understand what love was until you was on the brink of having your heart broken by somebody you thought that loved you. You have been in the family for years, but it's only until recently that you have discovered the strength of family by remaining sane through some unnecessary family trauma. My brothers and sisters, you got to realize, Sunday, that through this state of mind, I didn't preach last week, I came to preach today. You have to understand through this frame of mind, you understand the necessity of holding on to what God has given to you that you have now discovered in God. My brothers and sisters, the peace of mind and the personal identity belongs to you. And that's why you must own up to who you really are, because when you own up to who you really are, you can be who God really wants you to be. You may have issues, but you realize that those are your issues. You may have faults, but you realize that those are your faults. And this means that just because you have faults and issues doesn't mean that you ignore your shortcomings, but it means that I love me enough to know that I have some things that I need to work on for me. I love me enough to know that I'm still a work in progress, heading towards God perfecting me to be the person who He wants me to be. And this is why you must understand that it is the goal of the enemy to make you devalue what belongs to you. You say, Pastor, what belongs to me? Can I tell you? You belong to you. Y'all not going to talk to me. Your mind belongs to you, and your will belongs to you, covered by God. And you have to realize that it is His goal to make you feel intimidated. It is His goal to make you feel inferior. And it is His goal, the enemy of the goal, to make you feel insignificant. And for many of you, you have now discovered life through an amazing revelation. But Laura, now you have seen a new level of hell in your life that you've never experienced before. It's because the enemy desires to devalue you so you won't value who God is making you to be. My brothers and sisters, that's you should value yourself, because Jesus said Satan comes to steal. He comes to kill. And he comes to destroy. But can you, I come that you may have life. Talk to me in here. Jerome, I come that you may have life, and you may have it more abundantly. My brothers and sisters, you need to realize realize what you worked so hard for, you will not allow the enemy to come in and take what God has given to you. I've been praying over my family. I refuse